And we are live. Welcome to the final edition of ESC Fan TV. Tonight, it's all about having a party. And
And we're ready.
I think we're ready for the party.
Yes.
I've invited 9 guests for each show, discounting my co-host, of course. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hi, Stuart. I'm very well, thanks.
How have you dealt with the last 2 weeks without me, my friend?
Stuart, it's been tough. It's been tougher than tough.
He's just told us he had his legs in the air.
But somehow, through the miracle of alcohol, I have been able to get there.
You've carried on. You've kept calm and carried on.
Well, yes. As I said earlier, you know, it's too late for love, so let hatred prevail. Don't do it to me next year.
Well, hopefully you'll be with me in Amsterdam or Maastricht or Rotterdam. Rotterdam. It could be Rotherham.
Or any of the other 40 cities.
Rotherham next year, something's gone wrong somehow.
Very wrong.
It'll be one of the cities that's been bidding. One of the 40 cities that's been bidding so far. It'll be one of them.
It could be.
Is there any city in Amsterdam that hasn't bidded? This is what Holland. I'd like to know.
No.
Anyway, moving on. So let's see who we've got with us for this first session. We've got all the way from London. We've got Andy.
Hello. Hi.
Somewhere in Belgium, because she can't get a camera to work, we have Aline.
Hello.
Hello, Aline.
Hello.
I think Tristan was poking his head through the camera lens there, so we'll go straight over to Tristan. Hey, Tristan.
Hello there.
Who else we got? We've got Joe.
Hello from sunny Cheltenham.
We've got the Bandido clapping going on here. We've got Martin.
Hello, everyone.
Martin obviously just flown back from Tel Aviv with me last week. We'll catch up on that in a minute because I'm sure he's got many a tale to tell. He spent most of his life in the press centre. We've also got, all the way from Denmark, we've got Nicholas.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm not used to all this clapping. It's great. It's fun.
We have to have Nicholas on there because, let's face it, someone had to celebrate a decent result at Eurovision this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also flying back from Tel Aviv, we have got Britain's most favourite couple. We have Phil and Michelle.
Good evening, Europe. It's finally calling.
Yes,
Finally calling. It's finally calling.
It's great to see you back, Michelle. The last time we saw you, of course, we remember you rising to the time we had with the wonderful Daz Samson and having such a jolly old time on your sofa.
Hey!
So it's great to see everyone back. Right, let's get straight into tonight's show. Before we do that, make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe. What else can they do, Tom?
They must not forget to actually look at our Facebook page, our Insta page, our Twitter page. Don't forget, we're on Spotify, we're on TuneIn, and we're on Stitcher. And that is Stitcher, not Snitcher.
Oh,
okay, we always have to remember that.
Snitcher.
Well,
there is a Snitcher.com.
Is there?
Do
you think we could get a sponsorship?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
No, I just checked last time when Tom got the word wrong. So.
Okay, which way do you swipe?
No idea. Don't do that sort of thing.
So, before we kick off, just a reminder: tonight is over 2 shows. The first hour is with my great guests we've got on screen now, and then we'll have a new panel at what time is that? It's 10 o'clock Central European time. That's the 18th, and 9 o'clock UK
all the
time.
Aussies.
We've got, absolutely. Well, again, we've got to celebrate success, and we've got a panel full of Aussies joining us a little later on. You in the chat room, we want you to engage with us tonight. We want you to ask the panel questions. So Tom will be in the chat room. Will you not, Tom?
I am in the chat room. I'm already posting the message to those in the chat room, and I want them to know this is their show. Okay.
Cheers, it's all about you. We love you. We appreciate you for joining us for the last 4 months. We're amazed how quickly we've grown. We do appreciate all the love and support we get. Tonight's all about you. So do send in your questions either now or some point in the next 2 hours. And just a reminder, at the end of this hour, we will shut this broadcast down and open a brand new one, probably with 5 minutes or so to do a changeover. So let's get straight into it.
Be
So,
like an interval. Stuart's planning on doing River Dance. Sorry.
Oh, I was really hoping
wasn't
for it.
Supposed to give that away yet.
so I have a costume change.
I'm planning a costume change. I've already got my costume change lined up.
Who's doing Madonna?
Who's doing it?
Whatever young man she wants.
Life is a mystery.
I just hope she performs better than she did on Saturday night.
Bring
How do
back
you
Ronan
meet
Keating.
Andy? Anyway, shut up, you lot. Let's get the first question out of the way. What did we think of the overall Eurovision Song Contest in Tel Aviv this year? And I want to go to someone who's actually been there. But before I go to Martin, let's go to the other couple that spent a week in Tel Aviv. Phil and Michelle, great to see you back. What were your thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. It was certainly at least as good as Stockholm, if not better. It was a great party. Met up with some fantastic people and had a great time.
I found a 24-hour shawarma shop.
So yeah, Michelle's got kebabs at any time she wants.
She's easily pleased.
6 o'clock in the morning, shawarma.
Yeah. Have a kebab, go to bed.
Yeah. Oh, and another highlight of it was that our hotel room was that small that the bath with the shower was at the end of the bed. So I could watch TV and watch Phil have a shower as well at the same time.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, the Euro Village was huge. It was fantastic. There was lots going on.
Yeah.
The Euro Club was good. We got access to that this year.
Yeah, a lady touched my leg all the way up on the
what?
way in, so that's always
All
good.
the way up your leg.
Yeah, with my big dress on because I didn't have any pockets. She went all the way up my leg.
This is security, by the way.
Did you find Brazil?
For that.
I just said you're welcome and walked in.
No, it's brilliant.
I loved it. I've had such a whale of a time.
And we got to hang out with the Aussies, who were fantastic.
Oh, and Stu.
And Stu, Stu was all right.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
Do you want to maybe cover some of the songs, Phil and Michelle? I mean, you spent some time outside of bars and kebab shops. What about the music?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were in the green room where you got free. There was a free bar and a free buffet, and we got chocolate and sweet inside, and free lager inside. And you know the woman that sang Hallelujah from 1979?
Yes.
I shoved her out of the way because she was in my way and wanted to sit down.
Some people some songs as well, which is quite good.
Oh, brilliant.
So basically the bars and the food was great. Wonderful.
It was a gastronomic experience for them.
The contest, it was a great contest. There was a great deal of variety. There was some fantastic songs, fantastic acts.
Apart from Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. Well, yeah. But apart from that,
no, I loved it. Absolutely loved the show. Some of the staging was phenomenal. It was absolutely fantastic.
What was your favourite entry this year, guys?
Oh,
mine would have to be Hatari.
Mine's Say Na Na Na.
Say Na Na Na.
My next husband, Serhat. I mean, come on, equality. What are the chances of that?
I loved Atari. I mean, being a bit out there, but they still went for it. They still did the whole Eurovision thing. They met up with people. They do all the publicity stuff.
They did look like they were sticky though. If you touched them, they looked like they'd be sticky.
But yeah, they were
Sticky.
good.
Yeah.
Probably something to do with long-time Eurovision fan Rodney Maskell. Never mind.
Yeah. So Tristan, so from the UK watching in, what's your take on this year's Eurovision? How's it compared to previous?
I think as far as the quality of the songs, I thought the average was better than last year, better than probably the year before that as well. It was really enjoyable contest as far as the music was concerned. The lighting obviously was the LED screens were great after not having them last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, it was a shame that it was somewhere that it was a bit far to get to, and looking forward to going to the Netherlands next year.
Yeah, I'll come on to the Netherlands later. Martin, so yeah, you kind of had the press experience this year. How did Tel Aviv live up to you? Based on your expectations.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's a different experience to Lisbon because obviously the venues were totally different. Altice is massive and this was more compact. So great shows. Hosts were better, I think, and it's different selection of songs. So I wouldn't say one year was, well, for me, not better than the other. Press experience was great, although I think with hindsight, if you can do it properly, do it for 2 weeks rather than just the second week, because you don't really get to do much other than sit in the press centre and watch the shows, which is a nice experience. See the jury finals and jury semi-finals. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Tel Aviv was a great city. Actually, things like you feel relatively safe. I think no people had a lot of problems if you were saying you were press getting through the airport and getting back out again. But as long as you were a fan, I don't think you had any restrictions at all. And I was walking around Tel Aviv at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'd never dream of doing that in Bristol. So yeah, great experience overall. Really enjoyed it.
I had an issue getting out. Actually, I was asked to see all sorts of paperwork at Luton Airport, and then I was frog marched over to a quiet room where I managed to sit there and be asked lots of questions about where I was headed and why. And guess who turns up? Paul Jordan, Dr. Eurovision. He got exactly the same treatment.
So did you both say you were press or linked to it? So I think they were really nervous if you were coming in saying you were press.
That'll teach you all for pretending to be press.
Well, I said I was a fan. I just had a ticket. I just had proof of being a fan and tickets. So and on the way out, I was a fan. So they just had a quick question and it was all done. So
I may have done.
Do you know who I am?
Actually, when he said, "Could you unlock your case so we can get into it?" I kind of did. Do you know who I am? No, only joking. Andy, what was your take on Eurovision this year?
Oh well, of course, I wish I'd have been there. Which is always the case when you don't go. Everybody has a fantastic time, and you wish you were there. I thought the semi-finals were a bit lackluster. The camera work was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. But it all came together for the final, which is what matters most of all. I was very happy with the result. I would love Italy to have won, but they came second, and I was pleased with that. I wanted a bit of a change at the top of the leaderboard, and that's what we got. We didn't get a change at the bottom of the leaderboard, though, did we?
Can we leave the UK for later?
Can we leave it for the end of the second hour?
Well, given that we're mostly Brits on here, plus Belgium, plus Denmark, we're going to have to go into those 3 countries, which brings me on nicely to Aline. Aline, calling us from Belgium, was a big fan of Elliot's. Aline, what happened? When did it all go wrong?
I don't know. I think it went go wrong with the performance itself, that it didn't came good enough on camera, and there was not a big emotion part for him. And I think that is at the end. I don't know. It was just dreadful.
Was it a shock to you that Belgium didn't qualify based on what you saw in the semi?
No, when I saw him start his performance at the semi, I knew right away that we wouldn't qualify for the final. So for me, it wasn't a shock.
Was anybody on the panel surprised that Belgium didn't qualify? I must admit, I was surprised, but on the other hand, this seems to be a year that's been hijacked by overly outlandish staging. Was anyone surprised Belgium didn't qualify?
I think he lost it the moment Duncan Lawrence released his song, and it was game over, and he must have known that. The whole of the Belgian team must have known.
See, I disagree. I think it was over the moment he chose to wear that silly jacket for a costume.
Yeah. Well, there was that as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
mind you, Mahmoud had a fairly silly costume, didn't he?
Yeah, but at the same time, Elliot, with the greatest respect, looked like he was about to go skydiving.
Yeah, he was stiff as a board. He came on and he was like, oh, and he just looked like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
good
really
lad,
nervous, wasn't he?
he?
Really nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he looked far better at LEP when he donned the 3/4 length coat. And it was kind of more slimline. I think that with the performance might have pushed him over the edge. I mean, let's not forget, it was quite close, really, at the bottom end of that table. So,
And they had those stupid bloody drums. I mean, what were they about?
I don't know.
aesthetically pleasing.
I think that's my
about.
point. I think if you listen to the song, it's a really good song. But what it probably shows is that if you put no effort into staging, then you're not going very far at Eurovision. I mean, it strikes me now it's very much song, performance, and staging. In equal measure. Those three things have to kind of hit the mark, and if they don't hit the mark, then you're just going nowhere, as we've seen with a number of songs this year.
Fist in the air.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it's not a bad song. Let's be honest. I mean, Belgium last year had a good song, but they had poor staging last year with.
They need Siri. they need Siri organising it.
San Marino had Siri this year. Go and watch the San Marino performance. One of the backing singers was an absolute spit of Siri and wearing the same dress from last year. But back to Belgium, I think that's partly their issue. Is they seem to be spending, my opinion anyway, they seem to be spending more money on the singer and the song and not enough on the staging. Maybe you could say the same for the UK, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So Aline, what do Belgium got to do next, in your opinion? Where do you need to go from here?
I don't know. Next year it's the VRT choosing. So normally we don't have a final when the Flemish part choose. So I don't know. Now the French part didn't came to the final. I don't know. I'm shocked that I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. So, yeah.
Joe, what's your take on Elliot? I mean, should he have qualified, and was it a shock to you?
I love the song, but as soon as he stepped on that stage, I just thought he's not going to go through. And it was as simple as that. And it wasn't for me. I mean, I get Tom with a jacket and the staging, yeah, absolutely. But he sort of, it was like he was only half interested in what he was singing, and he wasn't really believing in it. And yet we've seen his performances at LEP, at EIC as well, and he's had that passion and he's had that drive, and we've all gone, yeah, he's going to qualify easy because of just the way he came across. So I just think the occasion was just a little bit too big for him, and it's a shame. And maybe he's thinking about the fact that he's got to go back to school. I don't know, but and do his exams. So it's a shame. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to go through.
He actually got 50 points with the jury.
I was going to say he did very well with the jury.
Yeah, it was the televote let him down. He got 20 points, which, to be clear, is third bottom in the televote. But he would have qualified with his jury score. And to put that into contrast, Say Na Na Na, San Marino, got 26 points with the jury. So Elliot was way ahead, but 124 points with the televote. Yeah. So he was hampered by the televote, really.
Yeah, it just didn't come across at all. So, I mean, viewer at home sitting there going, I know this guy's better than that. What's he doing? So if I knew that, then.
But do you think if they had something a bit more impressive as staging, they would have qualified? Because I do. I think that ultimately comes down to staging. He sang it well. The song was good. The staging was terrible.
I do. I mean, yeah, it wasn't good. But again, it's all about believing in the song, and whereas the message was there, but was it there on the stage? And as I said to you, I just don't think he believed in the message to a point as well. I think it was that whole sort of, okay, this is 3 minutes of what's the song about? Which again, the staging has a lot to do with that, definitely.
Elaine, just on next year and in the Netherlands, is it more important that Belgium has a good Eurovision, being the Netherlands next year?
I don't know. I don't think there's any competition of doing better because our neighbor country is hosting, but we will see. You never know.
I mean, surely it's time for a Belgian win. It's been a long time too, hasn't it? Let's move on to Denmark. I'll bring Nicholas in. 12th place for Denmark. A lot of people were expecting this to do well. Tristan actually had this as his winner. Nicholas, going into Eurovision. So what's the reaction back in Denmark for your 12th? Came 12th, I think, 12th position.
Yes, 12th position. Now everyone seems quite happy about that, because I don't think, like you said, I think like in the Eurovision bubble, I do think that some people were like, yeah, it's gonna do all right, but I think most Danish people were like, yeah, we're not gonna qualify. There wasn't too much faith, especially towards the end. I don't think there was too much faith in the song from the Danish public, but I think it's good for us. You know, we've been in the final for the past 3 years now. We had a fantastic result, especially on the televote last year. We had a decent result this year. It's all going to help towards artists and songwriters being interested in this. And it's clear that DR once, you know, has taken what they've learned from these 3 years and are like, okay, it's time to try to get this show back up to being something that everyone loves again, because they're moving our national song contest to Copenhagen, to one of our big arenas, Royal Arena. So they want to do a big show next year. There's no doubt about it. They want to celebrate the 50 years that we have had our Dansk Melodi Grand Prix. It's going to be a big show next year, and I think you know, we're on to something here. We may have not gotten like the top of the top results, but we're slowly getting back there after the years that we had in 2015 and 2016, where it went really bad for us. No one really knew where that came from. It kind of came out of nowhere, because ever since the semifinals, we've pretty much always qualified except for those 2 years. So I think this is good for us to kind of get back into it.
The interesting thing I found with Denmark this year was that, speaking to lots of people, casual Eurovision viewers, and I'd go, you know, oh, did you see it on Saturday night? Oh yeah, what was your favourite song? And they go, oh, Denmark, love Denmark. Unfortunately, they're the casual viewers that don't pick up the phone and vote. But it shows that you're onto something.
Definitely, and I think you know, that's what we've always been able to do, and I think Only Teardrops is a great example of this. Is that we never try crazy. We never want to go for crazy. The times we've gone for crazy, it hasn't gone well. We mentioned the whole rapping song in one of the previous shows. You know, when we go for something that's a little bit more out there, we usually don't do well. What we do well is simple, casual pop that everyone can get behind, and sometimes we go for the perfect formula, and we do great. We have some great songwriters, and we have some songwriters who love to participate in Dansk Melodi Grand Prix. Luckily, I think it's about finding the right combination of artist and song, and then you can really do something.
So, Martin, what was your take on Denmark this year? Because we covered this in quite some detail as part of the national final season. What's your take on where it sort of ended up, and whether it should have done better, or maybe it should, you know, it surprised you that it finished 12th?
Well, given it, because it only just scraped into the final, because do I remember rightly that it was 10th in the semi-final? Was that the one where they were 1 point ahead of Lithuania?
Yes, that was the one.
Yeah, so only just got through. I think her final performance was better. I mean, I always said that her main issue was that she had a professional ice skating game face on it. It never really had the warmth and connection, but I think she got it in the end, and that's probably what, you know, all linked together so that it got better in the final. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a decent result for Denmark this year, seeing that it was never one of my favourite songs. But you know, so yeah, I was looking the Dance Melodi Grand Prix website, and it's March the 7th, so you can already buy tickets to go and see the Danish national final, and it does look impressive because it's the Royal Arena, and yeah, it's massive compared to some of the other venues the national final.
It's a fantastic arena, that's for sure. It's newly built. It's only like 3 or 4 years old, so it's definitely shaping up to be a big show, and I think that's what they want to do with it.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. So you'll probably find half of the UK national, all the websites will be there as well. I expect they all tend to go together as the same one. Right. Was it last year or the year before? It was all Norway, and then a couple of years ago it was Estée Lauder. So you'll probably find that you'll be swarming with UK websites.
I'm looking up flights to Copenhagen as we speak.
Asking the rest of the panel. So, do we have any fans of the Danish song here that would like to give their view? And then we've got a couple of questions that we're going to ask from the chat room.
I didn't like the song. I didn't like the singer. I didn't like the staging. And then I did on the night. I thought it was lovely. It worked perfectly for what it was. And when she smiled at the end, she won me over.
Yeah.
Actually, really lovely girl. Really lovely. I'm fortunate enough to meet her on the orange carpet. And yeah, she's probably one of the nicer ones. You know, you kind of get to know a lot of the singers throughout the week, and some of them at that point were a little bit more tired by being asked the same questions over and over again. Leonore, on the other hand, was really positive, happy, and very willing to engage. So, yeah, nice to see them do well. Deserved. Question from the chat room, a random Danish guy. So sticking on the Danish theme, he asks, did anyone predict North Macedonia to win the jury vote?
No.
Which has now won the jury vote, because Sweden won the jury vote before they realised they screwed the results up. We'll leave that for another time. Nicholas, you were jumping in then. That was a big fat no from you.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised. It was the big surprise for me. However, you know, looking back at it now, and, you know, having some time to reflect over it, I can see it. I can see why the juries get behind this, because I feel like it's the same thing that we saw with Caesar Samson last year, is that the juries like to get behind a song that's sung really well, that's produced really well, and that doesn't have all these crazy effects. Because I do think, you know, we are dealing with industry professionals here. Obviously, they're going to go for what they feel like is most polished. And if we look at the final, I definitely think that North Macedonia, along with Sweden, were some of the most polished songs this year. And I think that's why songs like that do so well in the jury.
It blew me away, actually, but I wasn't expecting it to do well as well as it did. I mean, it's certainly not first in the jury. Let's go to Aline. Aline, what was your thoughts on North Macedonia? Did you see this coming?
No, I was in total shock. The same for my friends who were watching with me. We were like shouting, "No, what the hell is going on? No, save us!" No, I didn't expect it at all.
I think that was the general reaction. I know in the press centre, everyone was in the same like shock. What's going on? What's happened to Eurovision this year? In the same way that with Cesar Samson or Cesar Salad last year, no one expected Austria to finish top on the jury.
And I don't know about that.
Well, I certainly didn't.
Well,
Did anyone
but the staging of the Austrian song, I thought this is really unfair. They're given in the most fantastic staging, and that will propel him to win. And it propelled him to a decent result, not to win.
Oh yeah, but the same in North Macedonia, where they finished 7th or 8th in the end.
Yeah, but the staging for that was good, but it wasn't out of this world. My big issue is that the difference between the jury vote and the televote was wider than ever. It seems to get wider and wider each year. And at some point, that will become unsustainable, because you've got Norway that, you know, got a middling result with the juries and won the televote. North Macedonia did the same the other way around. It's when it used to be third with the juries and first with the televote, you could see it, but now it seems to be a huge disconnect between the two.
So I think there's a lot of things there. There's the way the juries are voting is very different to how we vote as televoters. So they're voting on 3 or 4 major components, and they're even told now not to vote on the actual performance on the night. Whereas as televoters, we vote with our eyes, don't we? We vote based on what we see. So the stage performance is more important, ironically, than the song itself. So that's why I think you're getting these big differences, these massive gaps between jury and televote, because we're voting on different things, and I do think that needs to be addressed. I don't know how you address it, though.
You've got to remember, the juries are voting on. The juries give points to 10 songs, their top 10 songs, whereas the televoters will just vote for their favourite song. So if you're coming second and third with the juries, you still get loads of points. If you're coming second and third with most of the televoters, you're not getting a lot. So the voting is different, and you've got to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And there is, since they're not announcing the 8, 10, 12 for each individual televote, you don't need to use that system now. So you could have, you could give your points in proportion to the proportional votes, the televotes that you got for each country, which I think is what they do in Melody Festival.
Yeah, I do think we perhaps need to look at reducing the size of the show. I'm not sure we really need to go through all 41 or 42 maybe next year jurors to get their 12 points, do we?
It takes less time than it used to do to read the whole lot.
It does, but we've just increased
it's the 10 interval acts we don't need. We don't need 10 interval acts in a row.
I mean, how long was the interval? 45 minutes?
No, it was an hour.
It was an hour. There was a full hour of voting this year, which was insane.
Yeah.
It's far too long.
Which was ridiculous. Because let's face it, people make their minds up.
But that helps to pay for the cost of the show. Because for any of the broadcasters, that's an hour of basically free entertainment on a Saturday night.
But then that's free entertainment at like midnight European time and 11 o'clock UK time. I mean, surely the free entertainment window's already passed by that point.
Well, not in Spain and not in Italy.
You know,
it's just in the southern parts of the continent. No,
I think the thing is that 4 hours does seem very excessive. I mean, 4 hours 10 minutes. I think it came in at.
Yeah.
Which was just, it was too much when
you want to know who the winner is.
Want to know who the winner is.
It's quite bizarre because being in the venue, it didn't seem like 4 hours 10 minutes. It's bizarre because watching on television, for me, it didn't seem that long.
Ooh.
But if they want to string it out, then they don't need 30 seconds between the songs. They could have a minute between each song, and that would flow quite nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking of intervals, though. Talking of intervals, I want to bring Phil and Michelle in here because you were in the green room, and it became clear to me when they did the vignette with Madonna. They interviewed her prior to her singing. That wasn't live, was it? That was recorded earlier in the day.
No.
So the story.
Madonna was not in the green room, and people were. There was a lot of confused people because they were looking where she should have been, and then looking at the screen, going, "No, it was all pre-recorded." The other bloke was there.
Yeah, Quavo was there, and everything else in the green room was live. The Mentalist and all of that was live.
But before the Madonna interview, the production staff was shuffling people around so that they were exactly where they were when they did interview Madonna. I mean, they made Tamta move in the same spot, and it was like because we could see them shuffling people about, and we were wondering what for. And then it synced properly with the Madonna interview. But it didn't go down too well that she couldn't even be bothered to do a live interview beforehand. It's just,
Well, the story goes they actually had to ship out all the delegations in just for that 5-minute interview earlier in the day, having spent 9 or 10 hours in the venue rehearsing. That was I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's a very strong rumor, which would make sense given what you just said.
Well, they had to do it sometime, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, very odd. Very odd. What do we make of Madonna as an interval act anyway?
Was she live?
Yeah.
I mean, I know she was dreadfully live, but
yes.
Was she performing on the night at the time?
Yeah. She was in the arena performing. It sounded better in the arena than it sounds as though it did on TV. But
arenas have got their own acoustics. Did they forget to turn on the auto-tune?
No, the auto-tune was on.
Not for Like a Prayer, it wasn't. It was on for the second song. But it wasn't on for the first song.
I don't know. I mean,
anyway.
I mean, it was a different version of Like a Prayer to what was the original anyway. She got the monks moaning or chanting or whatever they're doing. So.
I think as well, we had to be live for the bit at the end with the two dancers with the Israeli and the Palestinian flag.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way she got that broadcast if it was pre-recorded.
Yeah. All the Israeli people that were, because the green room was full of Israelis because nobody bought tickets for. And they were going mad for Madonna beforehand. They were like, oh, Madonna. And as soon as they did the flag thing, absolute silence. Nobody said a thing.
Is that why she got such a muted response at the end of it?
Yeah. So, she didn't go down well with anybody.
It's unfortunate because here's the thing: we remember this interval act now. We don't remember any of Justin Timberlake's performance that well. But we remember this, but it's unfortunately for all the wrong reasons. I feel like because we remember it for bad vocals and controversial dancers, and I think it's a shame. What I will say, however, is that probably means that we won't get any big stars in Eurovision anymore because they'll be too afraid that they'll do something stupid. You know?
Good. Thank Christ for that. I mean, I have to say, it's who needs it really? If you're going to bring a star to Eurovision, no. I was really happy with the switching. You know, I was happy with having Mons. I was happy with having Eleni. I was happy with having Verka Serduchka. That was enough for me. That would have done.
So you're not interested in? Well, you know the rumor that they've got Celine Dion for next year.
No, don't want to see. I've seen Celine Dion. Don't want to see her at Eurovision. No,
Can I just say now that if the EBU are listening, that I will do the interval act for half the amount that Madonna did it for.
Well, you need to, Michelle, because you will be on stage representing the United Kingdom. Just remember, Daz Sampson is writing a song for you, and he's tweeted me to tell me it's in the works.
Michelle and Daz Sampson, the UK Dream Team. I have visions.
Bloody nice.
It would blow their minds.
Maybe it'll be for Belgium. What do you think, Aline?
I don't know.
Suri could choreograph.
I want to be a backing singer. Yay!
No, you can't.
I'll be a backing singer.
No, you can't. Don't look me in the eye.
Too late.
So Netherlands won. Haven't won since Ding a Dong. I'm looking at Tristan. I wonder whether his camera's frozen because I was going to go to him. Tristan, come in and say hello if you're still there. No, we've lost him. Let's go to Martin. Martin, look, this was the favourite going into Eurovision. Lots of songs could have won. I think it's fair to say there were probably 5-6 songs which could have won this year's Eurovision. It was a really open race. But in the end, the favourite actually won Eurovision. Right winner for you?
Yeah, I think so overall. It didn't win the jury vote, didn't win the televote, but it was Jamal doing a Jamal all over again, being the compromise, sort of, was it second and third, wasn't it? So yeah, I think, you know, he probably was the best male vocalist overall for me. And the staging was good. It matched the song. It's all very refined, you know, just very simple. And yeah, I can see why it won. You know, it's got a strong jury vote, and it appealed on the night. So yeah, I was pretty pleased, and I think everybody who came out of the arena of whatever nationality was pretty happy that the Netherlands had won after so long since the last time. So, yeah.
Well, we are in the UK, aren't we? Because we can swim there. We can get a boat. We can fly. We can get the train. Have I missed anything out?
You can swim.
We can parachute.
I've researched a lot, Stuart.
Yeah, exactly.
Ferry.
This is going to be my exciting arrival.
I got a ferry from Hull to Rotterdam in 1976 on the night of the Eurovision Song Contest. So you definitely can.
Well, you're more than welcome if you want to come with us, Andy, on the ferry from Hull.
From Hull?
You can come.
Hull. That was the one I got. Hull to Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Whereas I was thinking of the ferry from the Hook of Holland, from Harwich. Harwich International.
There's plenty of hookers in Holland. Anyway, moving back to Aline. Aline, what does it mean to Belgium, and what's been the reaction of Netherlands winning?
Well, our reaction is that we share the victory because the lightning ball, I think, was made or the idea of a Flemish person. So the whole Flemish part of Belgium is like, we want to.
Well, in which case, can the UK claim a 5th position then?
Maybe.
I think you can.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
John Ludwig going to have to claim a last position also, right?
Yeah, that's only fair. It's got to work both ways.
Joanne, Netherlands, is that a worthy winner for you?
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved him. I think he was like my second favourite behind Norway. So I was absolutely chuffed. I can go there next year. I know the country really well. I don't care which city it's in. And I'm going to go and see him in December because he is doing a gig in the UK, in London. So yeah, all in all, perfect result for me, that one.
He's probably doing gigs all over. Didn't he say that he was touring Europe?
Yeah, he's doing Stockholm, I think. So because Gustav was going to go, and yeah, he's doing Copenhagen, and I know he's doing loads in the Netherlands. And they've just increased the size of all the arenas because they've changed our venue. Mum and I are going and we've changed the venue.
Is it still in Hackney?
I just realised we wanted a certain standard of venue, Joe. That was it.
I think so too, but yeah, I much prefer to have stayed in the, in the hotel next door rather than. I don't know where I'm going to book now. I think maybe get a King's Cross because only one tube stopper. I don't know.
Yeah, I think where it's being held, you should be able to find somewhere within reasonable.
Camden, that sort of thing, I guess.
So where is he performing?
The Garage.
The Garage.
Yeah, never heard of it.
It's where in London?
Islington.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
You can stay with me, John. Don't worry.
So we got another question in the chat room. What are our wishes for next year's interval act? Right. So let's go to Nicholas for this, I think. Nicholas, what's your wishes for next year's interval act?
I think you're gonna have to go to someone else because I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
let's
missing
go.
of anything.
I have an idea.
Let's go to Tom. Let's go to my co-host Tom. What's your wishes for next year's interval act, Tom?
I think we should bring back the singers of the 1975 victory, Ding a Dong.
She can't sing to save her life. She can't sing.
I think that would be brilliant.
She lost her voice years ago. She only mimes.
Or to get some of the past Dutch singers to do a medley of Dutch Eurovision favourites, which have been criminally underrated throughout the year.
Can we have the return of the Dutch?
Oh yeah.
And they all need to be. They all need to be wearing the dress from 2015.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you need to get Celia Romley and Ruth Jacob.
Yeah, Ruth Jacob, and
get pissed.
Esteban and Marlene.
Yeah.
What about Two Unlimited?
Who?
Two Unlimited? No.
They didn't represent Netherlands at Eurovision.
They are Dutch.
They had somebody else though, didn't they? Like that.
Mouth and McNeil.
Dutch.
Yes, unfortunately, Mouse no longer with us. So.
But she could sing in Maastricht.
Yeah, could have maybe McNeil.
Yeah.
So can we have? I can finally get my thing in. Can we have the Dutch toppers? Because I missed them.
Oh yeah, they were good.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
So we have another question from the chat room. Italy thought Italy could have won with what's that? Italy could have won with better staging. Cyprus screwed. Oh, hang on a minute, that's not a question. What's your opinion about Catherine Duska for Greece? About her performance and final result? Did anyone get the staging for that?
No.
It was like the official video, wasn't it? Or an extension of the official video, I think.
Extension of the madness.
Yeah, so that's why they're throwing things into the crowd. It's always a risk because at a football match, the ball's going to come back on, isn't it?
It nearly did. In the semi-final, that ball was seriously close to going back on the stage.
Oh my gosh.
But it would have improved it.
I think
I hit the ball. In the semi-final, I hit the ball. I think
we've got Tristan back with us. So I'm going. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go over to Tristan now. Tristan, what's your take on Katarina Duska for Greece? Because it didn't do too well in the final, did it? Are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised, but I loved the ball in the semi-final. In the final, they took the ball out of the audience almost immediately and left it on that little runway part, and I thought that took away a little bit of the fun, because I mean I've been in an arena with those balls before. I went to an Underworld concert once and it was full of them. They don't hurt anyone. They're very, very soft, amazingly soft. They're like a balloon. If it had bounced back onto the stage again, it wouldn't have mattered because they're so light. You don't even notice that they're hitting you. They're just, I don't know what they're made of. I think they were just being.
Oh, sorry. It was if the ball came back for the next act was the trouble in case it upset somebody else's staging.
Oh yeah, sure. But they could have then got it at the end of the song. But what happened in the final is that ball went into the audience. Then rather than bouncing around in the final, it was immediately someone took it off and put it to the side, which spoiled the whole effect of seeing the ball bouncing around in the audience, which I think is possibly got it a few extra points.
But that was the least of its problems. The big problem with the song was that she was singing down her nose.
She has a very strange voice. It's a sort of like, it's very Annie Lennox, but it's also a bit of a mixture of Jamala as well. So it's sort of like if Jamala was covering an Annie Lennox song.
No, whatever you think of Jamala, she's a fantastic singer, and the Greek girl was a bit of an average singer, really. Not even as good as the Cypriot singer, if I might say.
Okay. It's not my kind of music, not my kind of singer, but there again, I could still appreciate that in the same way that the Israeli guy is not my kind of singer, but I can still appreciate that he's a good singer.
Oh yeah, well I can agree with you with that.
Did anyone see the interview? I've got to make notice of this. The interview with Katerina Duska, and someone in the press genuinely asked her this. They asked her, "Your staging, why does it look like a condom?"
Yeah, I saw that.
Did anyone actually see that? The poor girl looked destroyed being asked that question. You know, it's like one of those things. Someone asks you a something or makes a point about yourself, and then you can't look at yourself the same way, or look at something the same way again. Yeah, your staging looks like a condom. Thanks for that.
You know,
what a question to ask her.
It's one of those things that makes me wonder, what are the criteria actually, for those who are aware, what are the criteria actually to get a press pass for Eurovision? Because clearly
the bar is very low, Nicholas, let me tell you.
Clearly that guy was not supposed to be there.
They said, Stuart, there's no criteria for press.
You're jealous, Michelle, jealous.
No, she's right. She's right. No, I just couldn't believe that someone had actually asked her that. It's just like, damn, you stole my question.
Jealousy is an ugly thing.
Right, we've got time for one or two more questions. So Craig Austin asks, after a jury member messed up the ranking in the semi-final. This guy's drink now. He's fine. Who dinner time at Tristan's house?
This has been your weekly dinner time.
Sorry.
That's fine, Tristan. It's yeah, go for it. No problem. Just don't make us jealous with what you're eating. After a jury member messed up their ranking in the semi-final, do you think the jury members should be increased? Question. Let's go to. I'm not coming to Andy for that. Let's go to Tom for that. Tom, what's your take?
Do you know what? I think there is an argument to increase the jury members, because didn't they used to have 10 or 12 jury members in the old days?
Yeah.
And I think there is an argument to actually make the juries that big, because I think it would actually stop some of the accusations that have been flying around. I think somewhat unfairly as well, in some cases, over some of the rankings that some songs have got. I can think of more than a couple examples. United Kingdom. But, you know, I think also with this, why have some of these errors been allowed to occur? Because, quite frankly, there's supposed to be an auditor standing by next to them. And quite frankly, if that auditor was doing their job properly, the mess should never have occurred in the first place. Quite frankly, and that's the auditor's job, and that's the auditor that should actually be shouldering the blame from that, because quite frankly, they should be knowing what they're doing. And if they're not, they shouldn't be in that job in the first place.
Also, we've had 2 times now, one this year and then one back in 2016, of a jury member turning the votes around because they thought they were supposed to rank them the other way around. You know, if it's so easy to get confused, clearly there needs to be done something to that system, because it shouldn't be that easy to get confused.
What they need to do is have. What they need to
time
do is,
constraint results, because they've got 24 hours to collect these results after they see the performance. So it shouldn't be difficult to get it right.
Yeah, you do have to wonder what the hell they're doing, don't you?
Yeah,
No,
they can't read a form.
Yeah.
Why can't they use fans for the jury?
Why can't they have a sheet of paper that says best at the top, worst at the bottom, and just put them down?
Right. To be honest, Andrew, I think you've got a very good point. Why don't they have 5 music industry professionals and 5 ordinary members of the public to form the national jury?
No, not ordinary men. Proper fans.
Eurovision fans.
Eurovision fans.
Yeah.
We support
I
the
agree with
contest
Andy.
year round, year in, year out. And it's great when it's shit. Why the hell shouldn't we have a say in the result? I mean, I know because but in that case, you get blah winning, but so what? We would have had Norway win. Oh, by the way, Joe, I'm sorry. I know I slagged off Norway and said it was a load of shite. We shouldn't have got through the semi-final. When it came to it, I thought it was really, really good. I was super impressed with the singer. And if the jury had been made up with fans, that would have won, probably.
Yeah.
And rightly so. Why not? Why not?
And it's number 1 in Norway as well.
That's what you need. A song that's a success. The Italian song that came second, that's been a success.
Yeah.
And Duncan Lawrence has been a success.
How would you determine who was a fan, a proper fan though, and not just somebody that wanted to be on the jury?
Well, then it would need to be a member of the fan club, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but anyone can be. Loads of people join when it's in somewhere like the Netherlands, don't they?
All right, you could do it every year for all the countries.
I can't put the pressure. I couldn't do it.
But then, Michelle, that's easy, because how do you determine that? If you're going to go down the OJ route, what you do is you say it's 5 members from OJ, and they've got to have been members for at least 3 continuous years or something.
Yeah, or attended events, or whatever. I mean, there will be some criteria somewhere.
Well, even if it is some random person, it could be worse than the juries they've got.
I love that.
It would be somebody that was interested in doing it. At least they're not going to put the results upside down, are they? They're not going to go and blab to the newspapers, because it doesn't matter how big your jury is. If one of them goes and blabs to the newspaper, the whole jury's gone.
Unfortunate, I think, with Belarus. But
I liked it.
But how did one person in the jury know what the result was? Shouldn't they not be putting their result in privately, individually?
But it was the jury foreman that blabbed.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was the head of the jury that blabbed.
Should have kept their mouth shut. Just shut up about it.
Is he in prison now?
Not yet.
In Euro prison.
The OJ Mafia are still after him.
So look, I think we're coming to the closing point here, and we haven't even covered the UK yet. So I think final question, last 5 minutes. What is the UK going to have to do next? And we'll have to be really quick, maybe 1 sentence here. And let's start with Phil and Michelle. What's your take?
You need a stylist, a choreographer, and a digital person that can do the background. They're the 3 people that you need.
But we also need to take a risk, do something a bit different. Not because, like all the like middle-aged ladies I work with, going, I thought our song was all right. Well, that's not going to win. You don't win with a song that middle-aged ladies think's fine. You win with a modern, contemporary song. And that's where we're going.
I'll be on it next year. I'll sort it out. Don't worry.
Nicholas, from you've got no bias towards the UK. What's going wrong with this? What have we got to do?
Well, I think it's just a matter of giving ordinary songwriters a chance to do this. I don't think the whole thing with song cams and stuff is gonna do it. I think coming from a country that's had a national final, the same national final all the way from beginning to end. I think find a good format, stick to it, take it seriously, build up the trust of the public, and the songwriters and the good songs and the good artists will come.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Final point, I think we'll go to Joe. Joe's always got a real positive view of the UK. Joe, come on, let's end the show with some positivity.
Positivity, yeah. I think we need to I agree with a lot with what Nicholas was saying. We do need to take it seriously. Maybe give it to a different channel if we can, and do a longer one as well. So do more of a Melfest type. There is a competition, and it's song and not the singer. Like the X Factor has the singer. We're choosing the song rather than the singer.
So that's the end of show 1. In about 5 minutes, you can access show 2. This has been part 1 of our end of season closing party for ESC Fan TV. I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of my guests on show 1. Lots of fun. Thank you so much for all the support this year. You ultimately make ESC Fan TV. We're going to see Nicholas back and a few others for the Junior Eurovision season. So I'm sure you're looking forward to that, Nicholas.
Yes, very much. I think the first one is in September. I think we have Russia choosing as the first country. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to covering all of that.
Yeah, so we're going to have lots of fun. So ESC Fan TV won't just end here. We'll start covering other Eurovision type shows shortly. Don't forget, we may even be able to cover Eurovision Asia. Our next show in 5-6 minutes time. We'll have 3 different Australians, so we can ask them.
What about the choir contest? We could do a show about that.
We could do a show about that. It's not my cup of tea, but if someone wants to put their hand up and offer, then they're very welcome.
I like it. Maybe I'll do one.
You could do it then. So like I say, a big thank you to Annie. Annie, listen, you wrote the theme tune to ESC Fan TV. You also wrote composed the movie even. Thank you for all your love and support. It's been great working with you.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see you next season. Elaine, great working with you as well, and we'll see you next year, hopefully.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's just lovely.
Good to have you on board. Joe, big love as always.
Love to you guys, and I will see you personally all very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Martin, good working with you and traveling to Tel Aviv, and thanks for all you've done. We'll see you next year also.
Yes, good to see you and be out there, and good thanks to everybody for being on the show, and see you all soon.
To Britain's favourite couple, lots of love, and thank you for being a part of this.
I've really enjoyed it, and it's been good spending time with you, Tel Aviv, as well.
I've sometimes enjoyed it.
Just a little bit.
Tristan, always a pleasure, never a chore. Good to see you, and best of luck for Crystal Palace in the new season.
He's frozen.
Oh, he's gone. Look, Tom, I won't say goodbye to you because I'm going to see you in about 5 minutes' time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tristan.
But yeah, thank you.
And just enough time to get a drink. Stuart.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of love, everyone, and don't forget to new link, YouTube, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Bye.